Chosen one, everyone involved just learned the lesson the painful way. You cannot be beaten. This wasn't survival. This was inevitability. You were built with depth, backed by alignment, protected beyond visibility. And now that they see it clearly, the truth is unavoidable. You can't be undone. And this outcome was never in question. Your quiet season confused them completely. When you stopped responding to provocations, when you pulled back from chaos, when you went completely silent in the middle of their storm celebration, erupted on their side. They threw victory parties. They had bragging sessions. They told stories about how someone finally put you in your place. In their limited understanding of power, silence always means surrender. No response automatically equals defeat. So comfort set in. Confidence grew. The narrative spread that you had nothing left to say, no fight remaining, no comeback possible. But what looked like weakness was actually war strategy at the highest level. You weren't broken during that quiet season. You were observing. You were calculating. You were watching every move with the precision of someone who understands that real power doesn't announce itself. While celebration happened on their end, you were collecting data on yours. You cataloged every fake smile. You recorded every passive-aggressive comment. You filed away every subtle betrayal, not for revenge, for reference. This wasn't retreat. This was reconnaissance at a level beyond their comprehension. Chosen ones don't move on impulse or react from emotion. You move with divine intention, guiding every step. While others celebrated what they thought was your demise, you were receiving downloads of strategy from sources beyond this realm. You were letting masks fall naturally without having to rip them off. You were giving enough rope and watching knots get tied without your hands touching the cord. Because silence isn't just the absence of noise. In the hands of someone spiritually mature, silence becomes the most powerful weapon in existence. You were getting stronger, wiser, more discerning. Every day without reaction was another day of spiritual training. Every moment without retaliation was another level gained. The silence everyone mistook for surrender was actually you preparing for revolution. And the revolution was coming faster than anyone expected. Confusion crept in when their full arsenal produced zero results. They deployed every manipulation tactic in the playbook with precision. Lies designed specifically to destroy your reputation spread through whisper networks. They crafted setups carefully to make you look unstable. Isolation tactics meant to break your spirit by removing support systems. Fake friendships built solely to gather ammunition. They threw everything at you with maximum force, and nothing stuck. Not a single attack landed the way it was supposed to. You kept showing up. You kept moving forward. You kept carrying yourself with a power that made absolutely no sense given what you were walking through. How were you still standing when others would have collapsed? How were you still peaceful when chaos surrounded you on every side? How were you still smiling when everything possible had been done to steal your joy? The answer lives in a frequency beyond human manipulation. Your foundation wasn't built on validation from others or approval from crowds. You were running on divine encryption that no human hand could hack. While they attempted to drag you into games of reputation and image, you stayed focused on character and substance. And substance doesn't shatter under pressure. It crystallizes. It becomes diamond. Every failed attack was actually adding another layer of strength to your armor. You were getting stronger with every hit, and the people throwing punches were too blind to notice what they were creating. What really started eating at them was the realization that you weren't just surviving, you were thriving. Their attacks weren't weakening you. They were training you, sharpening your discernment, teaching you about human nature, showing you exactly who to trust and who to keep at a distance. Every scheme became education. Every trap became a master class in spiritual warfare. You were becoming dangerous in ways they couldn't measure. Fear kicked in when your silence transformed into something they couldn't control. They expected you to fight back. They prepared arguments. They had counterattacks ready, but you stayed quiet. Not from fear, from understanding. Real power doesn't need to announce itself or prove anything to anyone. Your calm in the middle of their storm spoke volumes that couldn't be silenced with more noise. That silence terrified them in ways loudness never could. Because in quiet moments, reality becomes unavoidable. In stillness, truth cannot hide. Your composure forced them to face themselves without the distraction of your reaction. You held up the mirror, and the reflection wasn't pretty. Maybe you weren't the broken one. Maybe the fractures existed elsewhere. Maybe the problem was never you. You were developing restraint at levels most people never reach. You held every card, every receipt, every piece of evidence that could have destroyed reputations and ended careers. But you didn't use any of it. And that level of power, the kind that chooses not to destroy, when destruction would be easy, that's the kind that can never be manipulated or controlled. That's the kind of strength that separates chosen ones from everyone else. You understood something profound during this season. Revenge wasn't necessary because justice was already being handled on levels beyond human courts. Your job wasn't to prove anything. Your job was to stay aligned with purpose while everything else sorted itself out. And that alignment gave you peace that looked like weakness to people who only understand power as aggression. Public performances turned your struggle into entertainment. Jokes got made, stories got twisted. Pain became punchlines for people who thought they were winning some kind of social competition. You became the easy target, the one who didn't clap back, the one who took hits and kept walking. So the performances continued. The crowds laughed, but you were busy building an empire in spaces beyond their vision. Every night spent laughing at you on their end was a night spent leveling up on yours. Every moment wasted on mockery was a moment you invested in mastery. Real power wasn't being built on stages. It was being constructed in the shadows, the silent hours, the private moments where substance gets developed. You collected wisdom while others collected likes. You built character while others built images. You developed substance while others chased approval. And substance always wins eventually. Always. The difference between performance and transformation is that performance needs an audience, but transformation just needs commitment. You were transforming while others were performing. And that gap was growing wider every single day. Assumptions got made about your background and your capacity to handle pressure. Soft, naive, sheltered. Grace got mistaken for inexperience with darkness. Kindness got confused with inability to fight. Every assumption missed the mark completely. What wasn't visible to surface observers were the wars you survived long before anyone in the current battle showed up. Nights existed where you cried yourself to sleep and still woke up ready to face another brutal day. Betrayals happened that should have left you bitter but somehow left you wiser. Losses occurred that could have destroyed your faith, but instead taught you what actually matters. You weren't built in comfort and ease. You were forged in absolute chaos, hardened in intense heat, refined under pressure that crushes ordinary souls. Your softness isn't weakness. It's mastery. The conscious choice to remain gentle after seeing the absolute worst of humanity requires more strength than most people will ever develop. You were raised by storms, trained by tribulation, educated by adversity. That's exactly why storms don't scare you anymore. Hard doesn't break you because hard is where you were born. Difficulty speaks your native language. Struggle is your training ground. Pain became the forge that shaped you into something genuinely unbreakable. Now we reach the turning point where everything shifts permanently. Every attack launched revealed something profound. Not about you, about the people attacking. Your resilience exposed fragility in others. Your calm highlighted chaos in surrounding spirits. Your self-control showed impulsiveness in those who couldn't contain themselves. You weren't just surviving attacks. You were reflecting true nature back to everyone watching. Every scheme became a confession. Every lie became a revelation of insecurity. Every attack was someone screaming without words about not knowing who they are without tearing someone else down. You became the mirror that showed everyone exactly what lived in their hearts. And most people couldn't handle what got reflected back to them. What was meant to destroy you is destroying them. What was meant to bury you is burying their credibility. What was meant to silence you is silencing their influence. Every weapon formed is starting to turn. Every trap is catching the wrong person. Because mirrors don't just reflect, they reverse. And the reversal is happening faster than anyone expected. The mirror broke. Not your reflection, their illusions. Irony reaches poetic levels when you understand what actually happened. Every scheme built to stop you actually constructed your platform. Every whisper meant to destroy you spread your name further. Every obstacle placed became a stepping stone leading higher. Obsession with your downfall created permanent attachment to your rise, not as victors, as evidence. Living proof that what carries divine assignment can't be stopped by human interference. While secret plots developed, divine positioning happened in plain sight. While others tried to surround your name with controversy, your story gained weight and power and undeniable momentum. Every trap became a staircase. Every obstacle became a stepping stone. Every closed door became a wall you climbed without breaking stride. The people who wanted to be remembered as reasons for your failure became proof that you're destined to succeed no matter what gets thrown at you. You weren't just winning despite them. You were winning because of them. And that truth is destroying everything inside them that needs to feel significant. A revelation broke minds when the truth became obvious. While others exhausted themselves trying to outrun you, you weren't even in their race. Competition for spots and attention and validation never interested you. You were completing a divine assignment, while others were competing in human games. Different marathons, different rules, different finish lines, different judges determining victory. Your lack of reaction to provocation confused them. Your refusal to get thrown off course baffled them. Your absence of need to prove yourself frustrated them, because concern didn't exist for who was watching. Concern existed for staying faithful to the mission. You weren't competition. You were revelation. Your presence exposed that all the striving, all the comparing, all the self-promotion rooted itself in insecurity and fear. Meanwhile, you moved with clarity, with conviction, with peace that didn't require validation from anyone. Disposable, replaceable, forgettable. That's how you got treated. Like time existed forever to circle back if minds changed. Like availability would always exist if value suddenly got recognized. Mishandling happened. Taking for granted became routine. Dimming your light seemed reasonable. And then you were gone. But here's where torture begins. For those who lost you. Chasing what you gave them never stops. Every person who comes after gets compared to you. Every connection feels empty because it lacks what you brought. Searching for someone who carries what you carried continues endlessly. But your frequency can't be duplicated. Your depth can't be borrowed. Your light can't be recreated. You weren't a trend. You were truth, and truth either transforms people or haunts them forever. Haunting got chosen. Now watching happens from a distance as you become everything they said you'd never be. You became the standard, the one that got away, not romantically, spiritually. Someone didn't just get lost. Access to evolution got blocked permanently, and that loss never expires. Processing this defeat isn't clean or simple. Layers of emotion exist that don't get handled easily. First comes denial. Luck gets credited for your success. Connections you supposedly had. Systems rigged in your favor. Anything to avoid admitting complete misjudgment. Bargaining arrives next. Testing waters. Subtle messages. Old posts getting liked. Attempting to rewrite history. Trying to slide back into your orbit now that ascension is visible. But discernment sees through every illusion. The difference between genuine transformation and strategic positioning is obvious. Access is wanted. Reconciliation isn't. And access is exactly what won't be granted. Anger reveals truth when it erupts. Claims that you changed. Painting victim pictures around your elevation. But real anger comes from realizing they weren't needed. That realization cuts deeper than any insult. You went around them like pebbles on a giant's path. That irrelevance fuels rage, not what you did to them, what you did without them. What truly breaks people is realizing you genuinely moved forward. Not fake moving on where pages still get checked and growth still gets measured against their stagnation. Real moving on, where they don't cross your mind unless someone mentions them, where their name triggers nothing, no anger, no bitterness, not even satisfaction at downfall, just neutral indifference, because you ascended to altitudes where they don't exist. They're still at ground level throwing stones at someone cruising at heights beyond their comprehension. Attacks don't reach you anymore. Not because of blocking, because of elevation beyond their range. Peace wasn't dependent on their punishment. Your joy flows from a well they can't poison. Your strength comes from a source they can't drain. Your confidence rests on a foundation they can't shake. Everything in you that produces peace lives beyond their ability to influence, and that independence from their existence is the ultimate victory. You don't need them to lose. You don't need them to hurt. You don't need them at all. And that truth is the heaviest weight they now carry. Right now, in the spiritual realm, invisible to natural eyes but about to manifest physically, every door that got closed is opening wider. Every connection that got severed is being restored stronger. Every opportunity that got blocked is manifesting multiplied. Because when humans interfere with divine plans, heaven doesn't just override. Heaven turns interference into acceleration. Attacks triggered escalation. Obstacles activated elevation. Resistance created momentum that can't be stopped now. Slowing down was the perception. Winding up was the reality. Loading like a slingshot. And the further back opposition pulled you, the further forward you're about to launch. What gets witnessed in coming seasons will break minds. Because this isn't the peak, this is the preview. Everything accomplished so far is just the trailer. The main feature is coming. Strength alone doesn't make you unbeatable. Strong people get beaten regularly.